On August 23, 1973, Sweden's largest bank in Stockholm welcomed an unexpected guest. Lars, wearing a wig, arrived at the bank, turned on his portable radio to play music, then suddenly fired a few shots. Customers and bank staff froze in fear, while brave employee Alan pressed the alarm button. After Lars discovered this, he ordered him to call the police chief, giving him 10 minutes to arrive, or else he would kill Arlen. At that moment, a female customer shouted for help. The bank manager ran out to ask if she had been shot. He accused her without hesitation, which upset his son. He explained that the lady might just be cramping. Lars found it hard to control the crowd, so he left only 2 female employees and let everyone else go. A police officer who arrived first quietly entered the bank to ambush, almost hitting the hostage Arlen, and instead got his gun taken away. Lars criticized the police for their poor shooting skills, saying they shouldn't flaunt their guns, as innocent people might get hurt. Soon, the police chief arrived at the scene. The fierce kidnapper held Ellen hostage, negotiating with the director while softly reassured her. Ellen was also nervous and scared. Miles demands the director to release his friend Nare from prison and prepare them with $1 million, a getaway car, and several bulletproof vests, or he will shoot Ellen. A few hours later, the director brought Naya from the prison. Naya was clearly much more professional than Lars. He first went to the office to replace the bank's surveillance equipment and discovered a man hiding in the office. Later, the director told Lars that the Prime Minister ordered him not to take the hostage with him. However, without the hostage, he wouldn't survive the escape, so he asked to speak with the Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister insisted that he would rather let the hostage be killed than compromise with the kidnappers. Lars appears extremely agitated, on the verge of losing control, yet he doesn't actually shoot the hostage. Both police and criminals are at a stalemate. At night, they stealthily hide in the vault to avoid detection during a police raid. The wide-awake Alan chatted with Lars, who claimed Lars resembled someone. 5 or 6 years ago, Alien read a news article about a robber who broke into an elderly couple's home. The elderly man had a heart attack, and the robber, instead of stealing, found heart medicine to save his life. Lars refuses to admit that the coward is him. He tells Alan that the police will definitely place a tracker in the car, so he plans to jump out midway with his accomplice, hoping Alan can keep driving to deceive the police. Ailing hesitated but did not refuse. The next morning, another female employee was scared, and her period came early, but she was unprepared with menstrual products. Lars rushed to explain the situation to the police and asked them to intervene. The chief, seeing the harmony between the hostages and the robbers, developed hostility toward the police and advised them not to be brainwashed by the robbers. Later, a reporter called the bank for a live interview with Alien. Alien told the reporter that they wanted to survive, so they were willing to leave with the robbers. He believed the police didn't care about the hostages' lives. In comparison, he thought the robbers were more reliable. Much better. The Prime Minister couldn't sit still watching the live interview. He called Arlen, saying things aren't that simple. Husbands can't compromise with violence. Alien said the robbers were nice and not violent at all. When Lars heard this, he got angry and said, "Who said I'm not violent?" He warned his subordinates fiercely, if they didn't let them go, he would kill a hostage. If someone really died, he hoped his subordinates could be guilt-free. After hanging up the phone, Lars came up with an idea. To convince the police that he would actually kill the hostage, he decided to have Ling wear a bulletproof vest and then shoot at her in front of the police, forcing the hand to compromise. He also told Ailing that this was the only way everyone could make it home alive. Although their time together was short, Alien developed an immense reliance and trust in Lars, willing to take risks for him. After the two reached a plan, Lars took Arlen hostage and went out to negotiate with the director, demanding a car and money for their escape. The director has discovered Lars's true identity and knows he saved a heart attack victim during the robbery, so he suspects Lars won't actually do anything. After killing, he mocked him as a coward. Lars became furious and signaled Aaron to run, then shot and hit Aaron. The director saw that G-Falai was serious and didn't dare to act recklessly, while Lars saw Alan bleeding, thought he had really killed her, and felt regret and guilt. Next, the police lowered a speaker from the ventilation duct to eavesdrop on Lars and others, but was quickly noticed by Nahl. After a while, Alan regained consciousness. Lars was very happy to see he was only lightly injured. The others realized that Arlene had been wearing a bulletproof vest. Afterwards, Lars lied to the police that another female employee had a cramp, asking them to bring ice packs, painkillers, and food. During the waiting process, the robber and hostages got along well and chatted happily, as if they were all companions. Then, the director personally came over with a bag of food and said the Prime Minister had agreed for them to leave with the hostages tomorrow morning, tossing the car keys over. Yet, the director exploited Lars grabbing the keys. Suddenly, the vault door was locked from the outside, and the heating was turned up to maximum. Then the air conditioning was switched on, repeating this until the robber surrendered. The hostage opened the food bag, but found no painkillers or food inside. The police's actions have left the hostage very disappointed. Nystrom, in frustration, blew up the loudspeaker. The police quickly drilled a hole in the vault ceiling. Lars opened fire at the hole, injuring staff, which made the chief hesitate to take further action. At the same time, Lars believes that Nystrom sold him out through an agreement with the police. They got into a dispute and fought, but in the end, Ling picked up the gun and advised him not to have internal strife, which calmed the situation. Late at night, while others were asleep, Lars and Arlene had an intimate talk. As they talked, their feelings grew, transcending the relationship of robber and hostage. However, the next morning, the director decided to put tear gas into the safe to force Lars to surrender. At this moment, Alan thought of an idea. He didn't have rope to loop around the necks of the other two hostages. Then, Lars told the director that once the police use tear gas, the two hostages will faint and be suffocated, and the director will be responsible for their deaths. The police immediately sent a camera into the cave and confirmed Lars's words, so they had no choice but to agree to let Lars and his accomplices take the two hostages away in a car. Before leaving the vault, Lars turned on the music to keep Aaron from feeling too lonely. The director found it suspicious, so he had people spray tear gas into the vault for testing, and indeed, they discovered that Alan was not dead. Meanwhile, as IRC and others got into the car, the director immediately ordered someone to pop a tire, then rushed out to explain that it might have been a misfire. Everyone should enter the bank to rest until the tire is changed. There was no choice. Lars had to return to the bank. However, once they entered the vault, the police locked the main door from the outside and began spraying tear gas. Partner Nair doesn't want to go back to jail, so he threatens the director. If the tear gas isn't turned off, he will shoot Aaron. As the director hesitated, Lars acted to protect Aaron. He decisively shot at his accomplices, and then surrendered. After opening the door, 3 hostages emerged, holding Lars in the middle to prevent police from shooting him. When the police separated them, a few were reluctant to part, crying and begging the police not to hurt Lars. The film is based on true events, where a female employee fell in love with her kidnapper and got engaged to him during his prison sentence, which is also the origin of Stockholm Syndrome. Alright, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and follow. Thanks for watching. See you next time.